both of them sound so great, especially with that preset, I must say, man. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Tonepedia YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel, and today I want to talk about the brand new Strandberg Bowden NX series. I've played all the guitars from the NX line, so I think that I've got quite a bit to say about these guitars. But for a couple of reasons, I did decide to not physically use these guitars right now for this video, but to show you what I, and obviously all of the Tonepedia team, have created during the last months. So welcome to the Strandberg playground. Here we are. So that beautiful player that we see here is what we call the Strandberg playground. And it's basically an interactive demo of all the guitars, or almost all the guitars, that Strandberg have released over the last 2 years almost. 6-string, 7-string, 8-string, different pickup options, all of that good stuff is what you can test drive here. And it looks digital, it is digital, but what you can hear is not an emulation, a software or whatever. It is actual studio recordings. So every time that you use the player to play a demo, it is a demo that I or my colleague Michi, who's also like amazing guitar player, JTC artist, played in our studio facilities, right? So there's, I'd claim, no better way of comparing gear head to head, because Tonepedia enables you to do things that you cannot even do in real life. For example, the time that goes by, that passes when you're changing guitars, have to plug in the cable again and all of that, right? That is momentum that you lose if you want to compare something, objectively. And also the byproducts that we use, right? So I don't have a Boss and a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe 3 and a PV6505 and a couple of new DSP plugins at home turned on, mic'd perfectly all the time. That is just something that most people don't have at home, right? So I guess this is also something that enables you to listen to an instrument in multiple situations that might be interesting, right? To find a sound that is close to you, even to tweak some settings, as you can see here, which will give you, I'd say the most objective impression how an instrument sounds that basically you can get. But enough talking about Tonepedia, let me show you what I mean. So this is the default player currently. So obviously we got some beautiful NX guitars loaded in here as default instruments. So the main focus in this video is to compare the new NX models to their former instruments, right? So Metal NX6, for example, to Metal 6, the old one. And then I'm sure that we will be able to very specifically pinpoint the differences in sound. And, that's just a great thing if you're interested in these guitars and you exactly know what to choose, right? Okay, so let's go for the Metal series, because I like metal and you guys probably do as well. So let me just, kick out a couple of instruments here. We got the Metal NX6. Let me also put in the Metal NX. Sorry, that's the Metal NX7. Let's also go for the Metal NX6. And now let's also add the old ones. So the Bowden Metal 6. And also, where do we have it? The Bowden Metal 7. It's here in white. And I think that for a clean sound, that is a good starting point if you want to see how a guitar reacts, how it behaves. I think we go for voicing 2, which is the passive voicing on the Fishman pickups. The Fender amp is a pretty nice choice for that. So let's activate a little reverb and let's see how that actually sounds. And let me go to the neck pickup as well, like the neck. Neck pickup is always nice for cleanish tones when you're using a humbucker. That's why I think. Okay, no more talking. Here we go. Nice one. So I think there are a couple of differences that one might hear, which are mostly due to the pickups, because here in that case we do have the Fishman influence pickups in that guitar, and here we have the Strandberg original OEM pickups, which does certainly make a difference, obviously. I'd say they both have certain qualities to them that I might prefer in different situations. The Fishman sounds very clear, much attack in that sound, which is why they're so great, not only for clean tones, it sounds good here, but also for high gain tones, which we will talk about later. While the NX6 with the OEM pickups sounds a little like darker, but also at the same time a little fuller, if that makes sense. So both of them certainly very useful in various situations. So to elaborate a little bit further on that, let us go for another playing style. So for clean tones, I also like to use the Mysterious Chords playing style a lot. It's not based on sustained chords, but it's more of that arpeggiated, mysterious kind of sound with non-diatonic chords and open string things. So let's listen to that and see how it sounds here in that case. And here we see that also the singing coil voicing on the NX6 is something that might be very useful for clean tones as well, because that little crispier tone is also achievable with that set of pickups if you're going to the 4th position. So that is how neck versus basically split neck. Right, and then I think like that is my favorite sound, man. I mean, I have played all of these guitars, but these details is nothing that I would realize when I'm playing them. But something where Topia is super good. Sitting here with my studio quality headphones and listening to like basically any detail that would appear if you play these guitars. But I think that. That is a really, really nice sound that we get out of the NX6 if we use the 4th position, so the single coil sound. It has still the thickness, the fullness of a passive humbucker, and a great voice passive humbucker in this case. And by splitting it, you also get that crispy touch that was also very strong with the Fishman pickups. So, I'm not a fan of saying that sounds better, that sounds better, that sounds worse, or whatever. I'm always a fan of trying to be as objective as possible, also with sounds. And I'd say that both guitars could be very useful in various different situations, depending on what you want. Generally, I'm torn a little more towards the NX6 with the OEM pickups. But let's see how these pickups perform on something a little more, gainy. So, let's go for the lead guitar right now. In that case, I really like to use the melodic speed metal lead playing style. My favorite amp to use on that, because I've spent so many hours on Tonepedia, I know that already, is the new DSP plugin here. And that was quick. And in this case with a Nolly 3 preset, which is, I think, based also on some kind of 5150 or whatever. It sounds just killer. So let's see how it sounds when we're A-Bing the NX6 metal versus the Bowden metal. So here we go. Nolly 3, all right. Okay, I'd say that we also go for another playing style in that case. That was very interesting in terms of dynamic because there are so many techniques. Not playing style, let's go for a little more old schoolish pentatonic shredding and also activate the reverb in this case and see how it sounds. And also the neck pickup makes everything sound very smooth. Let's go for the bridge pickup and see how it sounds when you're having a little more like sharp and aggressive tone. So reverb on, and here we go. Right. So why the passive pickups here on the bridge, and especially in comparison to the first active voicing on the Fishman pickups, sounds a little more bass focused. Again, I think that the Metal 6 in that case with the Fishman pickups sound very, very clear. Again, subjective, which thing you like most, but wow, both of them sound so great, especially with that preset, I must say, man. So both of the guitars have very strong characteristics. I'd say that, and this is just my 2 cents now, if I only play metal, this is the metal model, like makes sense to play metal on that, right? If I only play metal and I'm going for that very aggressive and super clear, hearing every pick stroke, every detail, everything kind of tone, then I'll go for a Fishman loaded guitar. In case if I would like to have a guitar that does not only do metal but also other genres, and generally want a little more thicker tone, then I would go for the NX6 with the OEM pickups. Now let's go for the Metal 7, because in that case another interesting aspect is that both of them have the same pickups. So in this case we have preloaded guitars with Fishman pickups on both models. I think it's even more interesting to see how different guitars sound with the same pickup. So buy Metal 6 guitars, really liked you guys. Now let's go for the Metal 7 guitars. So we also have all the lead playing styles, but I think in that case, the 7 string, come on, let's use that. Let's go for the low B groove metal playing style, which is like groove metal 5-finger death punch kind of thing. So let's again start out first with the new DSP plugin, but go for the first preset because I think that is a little better for a rhythm guitar. So here's the former Metal 7. Interesting. So I think you can certainly hear differences in between these guitars, even though they have the same pickup. I think that the NX7 sounds a little more balanced overall. So I think that in terms of frequency range, it is very, pretty much even. No frequency sounds too sharp or anything. While at the metal, when we listen to the Metal 7, it is definitely a little more high. Focus. The sound is focused more on high frequency, so it has a little more presence, a little more bite, which is not ultimately a bad thing. But naturally, I would, again go for the NX7 because I like that balancedness. We need to consider that both of the guitars have been, in every case, were going through the exact same signal chain. So obviously you could tweak the amp and by that adjust the overall sound of the guitar, but naturally the NX7 sounds a little more balanced, I would say. Very interesting. Now let's go for another playing style. I'd say also something with a drop tuning might be nice. So we can go for the modern prog, which is fast modern riffing style thing. And we played it, I played it in drop A on the 7th string. So, you can definitely tell if a guitar can keep up, if a pickup can keep up with that, fast notes when they're played on the low strings, which is a very challenging aspect. So let's see if the guys at Strandberg and Fishman did their jobs well. Let's go for another amp now for that type of thing. The new DSP is basically an evergreen in my opinion for any metal kind of thing, but the 6505, I mean, that's the metal amp. So let's go for that. And now let's start with the rhythm preset, see how the NX7 sounds first. Wow, the difference is even stronger now with 6505. So I think that again the NX7 sounds a little more balanced, but now I think in terms of presence they're both at the kind of same level. But again, the NX7 sounds super clear. It's not that the Metal 7 doesn't sound clear or something. I think this one again is just balanced. So a very similar picture occurs here when we're listening to that. Now let's do the gent. But for the gent, I'd say that we need 8-string guitars, right? So in that case, I would go for the original 8. That's the old one. And now we got the NX8 here. So let's go back to the player and see how they sound. And for 8-string, like we have a dedicated 8-string playing style, which we can actually start with right now. It's called polyrhythmic, and afterwards we need to go to the gent. But no, let's start with that one. That is, Meshuggah, slower, doomerish kind of thing, and gets faster in the end. I'd say for that one, let's go for the Boss, because I really think that the amp has much definition, which is something that you need when you're playing with the 8-string. And in that case, it's even dropped. So we're going from F sharp to E. It's basically an octave lower than your standard guitar. I mean, it's crazy. So let's go for the Brown preset. That's my favorite one, favorite channel on that amp. Let's see how they sound. Wow, so it's pretty hard to tell the differences, especially considering that this playing style is almost exclusively played on the 8th string. But I think it's very similar to the differences we had between NX7 and 7, the old 7, which is that the old 8 string, in that case, the original 8, has a little more presence. So it sounds a little more torn towards the higher frequency range, while the NX8 is again a little more balanced, I would say. So let's go again to the Neural DSP section here, because for the 8 string we also have used the Abazi Neural DSP plugin, and Abazi is one of the most famous 8 string users out there, so I guess that this will be a nice one to see how the 8 string sounds. So let's go for that. And again, very balanced tone on the NX8, also great tone on the original 8, a little more presence in there. Now let's go for the gent, because there's just the 8 string. If you just want to use the 8 string, then perfect, that was the best sample for you. But now let's go for the gent playing style, because so there we also have a little more more techniques used, and a couple more strings used as well. So let's hear that. All right, so we got 6, 7, 8 string covered. Now we got basically all of the guitars from the Bowden range in here, and this is like 100% free, no cent that you need to pay. All you gotta do is go to strandberg.com. Let me do that very quick. Then you go to Headless Guitars, and then you got it here, Strandberg Playground Tompedia. If you go there, then just scroll down a little bit, and boom, here it starts. And here we go. That is all that you gotta do to basically compare Strandberg guitars from anywhere in the world. And if you're not sure if you want to buy a Strandberg guitar or maybe a guitar from another manufacturer, man, that's also not a problem. Because we also got our webpage topia.com, where you basically have a huge library of different guitars, not only guitars but even more effect pedals, amplifiers, speakers. We're currently working on pickups. We got bass guitars, bass effects, acoustic guitars, so much stuff to compare. And let's say you're not sure if you want to get a Strandberg guitar or want to also another modern metal machine, then let's go, for example, in that case, let's go for an Ibanez guitar. You can just take like an Ibanez guitar of choice. I like that one, I got that one. Now let's go for a Fishman loaded guitar here as well, right? Boom, close that window again. Let me go for a 6-string Strandberg as well. Manufacturer, oops, let's delete that. Go for Strandberg. Boom, here we are. Let's even go for a Fishman loaded one, because the Ibanez also has Fishman pickups. The Metal 6 had Fishman pickups in there, right? Again, minimize it. Boom, and now as I did before, choose your amp. And let's go for the Boss in that case, and choose a playing style. Choose a playing style of choice. Now let's go for, in that case, for the Busy Rhythm, and then see how they sound head to head. So pick up 1, bridge pickup, boom, let's go. Right, all day long you can A/B guitars and all of stuff I just mentioned. So just a great thing to have in your life, I'd say. And I want to let you know about that option as well. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope that you learned about these guitars. If you want to have the specs and all of that, you can find them on the webpage. I think what really matters in the end, it's the sound, and that is what we're here for, right? So, guys, if you like that video, please leave a comment, leave a sub. Also like the video, share it with your friends, and also tune in next time. All right, guys, that's for today. Thanks for tuning in. See you. Bye.